Hey guys, this week's video is dedicated to all our brothers and sisters in the land of Israel and around the world, as well as to the memory of my grandfather whose yahrzeit is tonight, his neshama shahav and aliyah. I want to start by wishing a huge YJP mazel tov to Michael and Tiffany Leah Rothenberg on the birth of their cute little baby boy, Nissim. Miracles, and you should raise him with lots of health and happiness and tons of Jewish nachas. We're so happy for you. First Friday, just a reminder, is next week. It's been pushed to next week. See the email. But we hope to see you next week at First Dish Friday. Can't wait to see you all. They tell the story of the fellow who's reading the newspaper. He comes to the obituary section, and lo and behold, he sees his own name. What is this? He immediately calls the editor of the newspaper and says, "Sir, there's been a mistake." The person says, "It can't be. Newspapers, we don't make mistakes." He says, "What do you mean? You said I'm dead. I'm very much alive. I'm talking to you." He said, "Sir, I can assure you, we never make a mistake." He said, "But you did. I'm talking to you." So the guy says, "Sir, look, we don't make mistakes, so we can't issue an apology or correction. But if you want, I can put you in tomorrow's birthing column." It's a cute story, but the truth is this is our story of the Jewish people. 80 years ago, the obituary of the Jewish nation was being written. We're done, we're finished. But from the ashes of the Holocaust, we entered the birth column, and a new era, a new generation was raised. This has been our history throughout. People have been trying to write our obituary, trying to make sure we were in there, and we're still here. In this week's Torah portion, Parsha Vayechi, we have the passing of Jacob, of Yaakov. But the Talmud says Jacob never died. What do you mean he never died? And the Talmud says, what do you mean? There was a funeral, he was buried. Why are you saying he never died? And the Talmud answers, because his children are alive. And as long as his children are alive, he is alive. Meaning, his legacy lived in perpetuity. His legacy was carried on, and therefore, he was very much alive in this world. Meaning, out of all the three forefathers, Jacob is held in the highest regard. Why? Because even though Abraham had Isaac, he also had Ishmael. Even though Isaac had Jacob, he also had Esau. It was only Jacob who had the 12 tribes, who had he had all 12 tribes follow in his footsteps, follow in his values, carry on his legacy, which became the Jewish people, the foundation of the Jewish nation. And therefore, he still lived. His legacy lived on. And that's for each and every one of us, that's our mission in this world. Our very destiny depends on it. Depends on us carrying on the legacy of our forefathers, of Jacob, of the 12 tribes, on the individual level, but also on the communal level. The same way the 12 tribes had to all, have completely all follow in Jacob's footsteps. Nobody fell out of line. So too, we have to look out for each other. We have to be there for each other, to uplift each other, physically and spiritually, to be there. And this was actually also the legacy of my grandfather, whose yahrzeit is tonight, my Zayd Nassan. He was somebody who went through a lot. And not only did he establish, after the Holocaust, not only did he establish a beautiful family who carried on his legacy and the values that he taught, but on the individual level, his love for his fellow Jew is legendary. Helping complete strangers, helping competitors, physically, financially, with advice, etc., always being there for his fellow Jew. So my friends, the very destiny of the Jewish people relies on us continuing the values and the legacy of our forefathers, of Jacob, of the 12 tribes, each and every one of us, but also on the communal level. I want to finish by sharing a very cute story that somebody shared with his Chabad rabbi when he was in Israel. He said he was in a taxi, and as everybody knows, taxi drivers in Israel are legendary for being, big experts on everything going on. And so they were talking about politics, and the guy's giving his opinions. And then the person asked him, let me ask you, you live in Israel. Are you not nervous with everything going on? Everyone trying to kill you? He says, no, not at all. He says, why? They're trying to throw you into the sea. He said, let me ask you, have you ever heard of Clint Eastwood? The guy says, yeah, I've heard of Clint Eastwood. Let me tell you, ever watch one of his movies? No matter who's trying to kill him, he's always going to be alive at the end. Do you know why? Because they need him for the next one. He's the star of the show. He's the star of the movie. So too with us. As much as people want to write our obituary, we're the star of the show. God put us in this world. We have a destiny. We have a mission in this world, and until Mashiach comes, until the final redemption, until we've made this world the place it needs to be, we're always going to be here. Stand tall, stand proud, stand loud, stand Jewish. Shabbat Shalom.